Hello, folks. This is Joe from My Geek Scene. I'm here with Tim, aka the Echoside Fiend, for it looks like now another one of our annual Astronomicon reviews. Tim, how are
Yep.
you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Uh,
Well, I guess that answers that.
yeah, sorry. Review over, folks. Take it
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. We'll see you next time.
So, as I mentioned in my stellar introduction, we're here to talk about Astronomicon. So, this was Astronomicon 5. Overall, I mean, no spoiler. I mean, I guess spoilers. Overall, I had a good time at the event. That hasn't changed. Um, but this year was pretty much more of the same, and that's not a bad thing at all. It was just a different venue, and I would definitely say it was a better venue. So actually, that starts off with our pro section of this. Um, the venue, it was much bigger. I want to say, what was it? The Burton Manor.
Burton Manor, yep,
Burton
in
Manor.
Livonia, which is where the M&E headquarters is, Magic Ninja Entertainment headquarters.
And see, and that's why I bring you along to these things, because you're well knowledgeable about
That's
that
right.
stuff.
What would you do
Well
without me,
knowledgeable.
Joe?
Good grammar. I mean, you're more knowledgeable about this stuff than I am. But yes,
Mhm.
the Burton Manor, it was a much bigger place than the Sheraton that we went to last year and
Definitely,
the
definitely.
the early Astronomicons. And
Hmm.
I cannot complain about that. The setup of the event inside the manor was not bad at all. With a minor nitpick that I will get to later. I mean, all of the guests were located in one central room. It wasn't like last year where they were split up in
Where they
between two
split
rooms.
between two, yeah. Yeah, that's when
And
I kind of say we're all just kind of like along the wall, so you could just make like a nice trip right around.
yeah, it was
So
just a pretty much a, I wouldn't say circle, but a big rectangle
yeah,
around
yeah,
that you can find pretty much everything all in one place. The only thing that
yep.
was like located outside of the giant room was the panel room, which was connected off to the side. If you looked, you'd
Yep.
find it, you know, but
Hmm.
it wasn't difficult to find. What did you think of the venue, sir?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I'd say, as always, their security and volunteer were very helpful and friendly. I've never had any issue with that. Um, yeah, the layout was great. You didn't get all congested like every other one before, where you'd be walking down an aisleway and have to turn around and go back the other way because there was so many people. This didn't have that this year. It was a nice, nice large room, lots of room to maneuver around, to walk around, and as we talked about, the guests were set up well. You could find everything. As I walked around and found different booths, I'm like, oh, I want to come back to that. I was always able to find right where it was, get right back to it with no issues, and definitely I hope that they do it at that venue again or a very similar venue. So
Yeah.
compared to the other ones.
Yeah. Were there any of the guests that you met this year?
Yeah, yep. This year, as usual, I usually just pick out one. There's usually a couple that I'd like to meet, and I'm like, I'll kind of feel it out. But this year, I met Nick Castle, that played the original Michael Myers, and actually, I've got what I had him sign. I brought my 4K Blu-ray of Halloween and had him sign it, and he wrote N Castle, the Shape, as Michael Myers is known in the movies, the Shape. So I met him. He was super cool. Talked to him for a minute, and I also did want to, initially, I was going to do the NWO photo shoot. And then unfortunately, we lost Scott Hall recently, back in March, I think. So I was thinking then about just meeting X-Pac, Sean Waltman, and walked by him a few times and was like, oh, there's a line. And then another time I walked by and he wasn't there. And so I just kind of decided against it. But I was planning on possibly meeting him. And then there's a few other ones I would have liked to have met as well, but just went with Nick Castle this year.
Oh, I met Sean Waltman for a brief second. I just went up
Yep.
to him and said, "Hey, thanks, dude, for all the things that you've done." And he's like,
Yep.
"Thank you, brother." Um,
I know a few other people that met him and they said he was really cool. So if they have him back, I'll definitely pick him another year. So.
yeah, he certainly did not. He wasn't standoffish or anything like that. You know,
Mhm.
I met Godfather briefly. I
Yep.
talked to Scott Steiner briefly. I talked to Danhausen a few times throughout the day.
Yep. All right.
He,
When we got there, we went and talked to him. And
yeah, just said
Mhm.
hello and stuff like
Yep.
that. And yeah, I mean, I never really. I mean, and then Corey Taylor was like one of the big guests there, and like the
Oh yeah,
line for that guy was just
that was ridiculous,
insane.
man.
It
I was
was
like,
crazy.
I have to admit, even though I know Slipknot's very popular, I was kind of surprised there was that many people wanting to meet just him. You're not even meeting the rest of the band, you know. But good for him, and it was awesome that they were able to get him.
Yeah.
So.
And it was cool that he like because obviously he had to cancel last year due to getting
Yeah.
COVID, but then
Yep.
he was like, all right, I'll come back next
I'll come
year.
back next year. Yeah.
Yeah, because you know, like how guests are like, well, I'll catch you next year, and then
Yeah.
nowhere to be found. But
nope.
yeah,
Got other stuff going on. Yeah, and that was cool that he came back. I heard that he was very, very cool, very nice as well.
yeah,
So
that
I
was
know
definitely
several
what I heard
people
through
that
the
met him
grapevine.
as well. Yep.
Yeah, just seemed like a cool person from what I saw. And
Sure.
one of the cool, I mean, it's a little sidebar. One of the unique things that I did see was he was standing there, and then this guy proposed to his now fiance,
Yeah.
like in front of Corey Taylor, and like he was clapping along and everything.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I know Nick Castle was right there as well. I saw that video.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't even see the video. No, I just saw this in person off from the distance. I was like,
yeah. Oh yeah. I think weren't we? Yeah, I think we were both standing there. But yeah, I did see the video as well. Somebody filmed it and put it up. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's pretty cool. One of the new the things that you got to attend that I didn't was, well, actually, no, before we even go into that. So how was it when you met the M&E artist?
Oh yeah, really cool. They're always super cool. I have like zero complaints about any of the M&E artists. I met Blaze right when I got there. And then later when you jumped in with me, we did talk to Twisted. I was kind of, the line for them got really long. And so I was kind of like, you know, maybe I'll try to get up there later. And so I ended up jumping in line, and I did end up making it up to see them. I got a few things autographed. And then I also got back in line a little bit later and met Boondocks. All of them were super cool. And in my own video that I did about my pickups, I did talk about Blaze being like absolutely one of the coolest like celebrities I've ever had the opportunity to meet. And I just want to reiterate that here. Blaze is just so nice, super cool guy. Really always cool to meet him, and just huge shout out to him for being so cool. All the rest of them are cool as well. And yeah, it was cool that you were able to jump in and talk to Twisted with me, and always look forward to meeting all of them. They're all such nice guys, and just cool that they do that for free at the convention. And yeah, just definitely lots of fun meeting them.
And I'll say it again, like every time I've met Twisted, the brief interactions, it's always been laid back and chill. It's never been like, all right, hurry up, kid, you ain't paying for anything.
Move along.
Like,
yeah, they're always so cool.
approachable. It's mind-blowing to me. Like, I mean, the sad thing is, like, it's mind-blowing to me because, like, instead of the exception, it should be the standard. Like, if you
exactly,
like, I mean, I understand people have bad days, but like if someone's just meeting you, like, hey, how's it going? You know, being approachable, like if you're of that status, is awesome, you know?
Yeah.
And
it's going to draw more people to your event. And obviously for them, they count on selling their music as a product, and that's going to entice more people to listen to them and interact with their output and everything. So,
yeah.
And they don't seem fake about it either. They seem like they're like legit, really nice guys, you know?
Yeah. And that's, because I can smell disingenuous behavior, and I'm just like, I'm not interested in it.
Yeah.
But speaking of Twisted, you went to the concert. I wasn't able.
Yes.
I'm trying to make it. I wasn't able to make it to the concert. No, I didn't go to the concert because I was haggard.
It's not your style.
It's not my thing. It's not my bag. And I was haggard, and I needed to go back home to get some sleep, so I caught a different ride home. So how was your time at the Electric Lettuce show? Yep,
it was a lot of fun. The obviously the concert hall was connected right to the venue, so I didn't have to drive anywhere. That was really nice. It was as soon as I walked in, I was like kind of thinking that it wasn't going to be the greatest sound in there, but it was great. They had a great sound guy, you know, really good sound in the venue itself. Attracted a big crowd. So we saw super famous Fun Time guys who filled in for Al Azul Ilu, who unfortunately had to cancel. And then there was let's see who else was there. There was a couple other artists I'm not like super into. They had Red, who's part of MNE. Not really he's good, but just not anybody I really listen to. too much. And then Blaze performed, and he was awesome as always. I never have any complaints about his performances. And then Twisted ended the show and did a great job. Obviously, did a lot of their 420 songs, their weed smoking songs, and but it mixed in a lot of their just regular songs that they do during their sets. And great show, like I said, great sound. Very small production area, as far as a small stage and everything, but they've made the best of it and put on a hell of a show, as they always do. Twisted always tears it up, and that was no exception that night.
All right, cool. So I'm glad you had a good time, bud.
Yeah, it was awesome.
All right. So, is there anything else positive you wanted to say about Astronomicon before we go into the?
Let's see. I think I pretty much laid it all out. Yeah, everything that I've got on my notes here, I think I covered. So,
all right. Well, folks, we're going into the cons of Astronomicon, no pun intended. And it's not really a huge thing. I only have like pretty much a few things.
Yeah, I just have a couple myself, really.
So one of the things that I had an issue with that I noted was more along the lines of the Artist Alley area. There was like spacing issues, like trying to walk down the Artist Alley, because everywhere else in the vendor room and the celebrities, there was plenty of space, but the Artist Alley was kind of tucked away in a corner. And I had already brought these up with the promoter themselves, so this isn't nothing new. Just like trying to walk down, once it got really packed, it was super crowded and it was tight to get through, so you'd have to just keep moving. Yeah. And like the at one section of it, where I believe Dirk Manning was like at the end, his end cap table close to the Ghostbusters, it was like a very bottleneck experience, like when it was high traffic area. The only thing I would suggest for like next year is to have a little bit more space in the aisles for people to get through. And another one that has to do with like the artist tables themselves. Like I noticed that all the artist tables were connected in one straight line in a row, and there was no space for like the artist or the vendors to get out. If they didn't have like if they were like behind the table, they would have to go down the row and exit out at the end, instead of having like that's why I'm a professional, kid. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, like when you've gone to so many conventions and stuff, you
start noticing that. Yeah, so you're saying they would have to walk all the way to the end of a
in order to get out
to walk around. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
There should be at least probably like
just a little,
like at least 2 to 3 feet between like each table on each side to let people get out in and out as they see fit.
Yep.
And I brought that up. And the other issue that well, before I go into the last one, are there any other issues are there any issues that you wanted to bring up?
Really the only just a few, but the first one was, remember when we got there, the parking lot, which was really nice. I actually didn't mention that in my pros. They had a really good sized parking lot, lots of room, way bigger than the other two locations. There was some mild flooding because we had a rainstorm the night before. So there was actually a good portion of it where you would not have been able to park until it dried up. Obviously, that's out of their control, but that is just something I wanted to point out if they do it there again next year. And then another one was no video game room. I will admit, the last few years I didn't really spend a lot of time in there, but it was really cool that they had it, and it was a popular event, because anytime I just kind of ducked in there to check out the games or whatever, it was always full. So I was kind of surprised that they didn't have that this year. I was wondering if they just didn't have a room for it, or what the deal was. But and then really, as far as you were talking about with the congested area, I did mention in the pros that the lines were a lot better, but I will point out that during Twisted, their line was so long that it did end up blocking off a pretty good section of vendors. The line was going right along their table. So if you were looking at the MNE autograph table, all the vendors to your right hand side were all blocked by the line. I only noticed that during Twisted, so maybe that was just a call they had to make. But I would probably recommend seeing if they can figure out something different about that, because that was several vendors that were blocked off. So
Yeah, that's definitely like an ongoing issue with
Mhm.
Astronomicon is while they've done this year, they definitely did much better about lines and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
that was the
still
only one I really noticed.
I would still like to see like kind of like a roped off area, like a like how when you would go to the banks and you have those that
Yeah,
little maze of
yeah,
ropes.
the velvet like go like this, and yep.
Yeah, I hate
Mhm.
those at the banks, but that would actually be fine for like lines to meet guests at
Mhm.
events. I mean, obviously you got to deal with like the logistics of spacing and whatnot.
Sure.
But I definitely would like to see something like that, or like an area like, hey, this is for autographs and stuff like that. If you're like, especially for like the M&E artists and stuff like that. That way the vendors would be separate from that, and then they wouldn't be blocked off by these long lines,
Right.
At least we didn't have the confusion of last year, like, or what line is this
Yeah, where
for
you
whom?
couldn't even tell who. Yeah, it was that was obviously the way that venue was set up, and obviously this one with the line for Corey Taylor, they did really well having it just along that back wall.
Yeah,
So that was done well. It was really just that when Twisted was up there, and obviously they're going to attract a large line. That was the only time I noticed it. With it being stretched way along all those other vendors. And while I was waiting, I watched lots of people walk by and kind of try to look over and see what was on the other side of the line, and then just keep going. So all those vendors possibly lost out on some attention to their booth, during that time. So
yeah, for sure. But I will give credit to the staff for at least like, hey, this line is for
yes.
this person, get in
Mhm.
line for this. I mean, it wasn't like I said, it wasn't as confusing as last year. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, and I mean, you already touched upon the game room, so thanks, Tim, for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
spoilers.
Yeah. I wanted to get to it before you mentioned it. So
Oh gosh, but no, I mean, yeah, the no game room was pretty much like the last thing. I mean, is it
Mhm.
critical and crucial to the success of Astronomicon? No, but like
But it
you've
was
had
it
it
was
for like the
nice.
last few years, it'd be
Yeah.
nice for it to return. I mean, but looking at the way the layout was, I don't know if they could, unless they had another room that we didn't know about.
That's what I kind of put in my notes here. I just put, were there no other spare rooms? Like maybe they just didn't have a spot to set it up. And I guess with the way the venue being a lot better, if that was a trade off, I guess it's a small price to pay. But it was kind of a little bit, I don't want to say shocking, but kind of like, wow, they don't have a game room. That's weird. Like you said, they had it at every other one. So, and it was popular.
It was, I mean, it was, I mean, that definitely gives something for the kids to do,
Hmm.
you know. So
Yep.
because me, I always like to think about the kids whenever I'm at Astronomicon.
Of course. Yep.
No, I
And
was
then
like,
I did just have a couple cons for the concert as well.
oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, for sure, dude.
yep. Just the if they do it again there next year, at least I know now. But there was, when you walked in, you could only see one bar. Obviously I had your alcoholic drinks, water, soda, whatever. I just wanted to get a bottle of water. I got one right when I got there. And then by the time it filled up, there was a line the whole night, this line waiting to get to this one bar. And then at the end of the night, when everything kind of cleared out, it turned out that there was another bar closer to the stage that had staff that you could not see because the crowd was all packed around it. So, assuming that those staff were there all night, that would have been nice if kind of like maybe, like I said, they have maybe some ropes just kind of separating it from the crowd, so there was a spot where you could walk in to get to that bar. Otherwise, I mean, I had no idea it was there. Um, and then there was a lot of pot smoke in the air, but it was their 420 show, so that is to be expected. There was security wasn't doing anything about it. They probably just knew it was going to happen. But as a non-smoker myself, it did kind of get to my throat and my voice, but not a huge deal. But then also, just for me personally, the fact that Al Azul Ilu had to cancel, there was a family emergency within their band. Don't know what it was. Even if I did, I wouldn't say, just because they're private information, private matter. But it was a bummer that they had to cancel. Lee Carver was still there, a member of Azul, and he was hanging out, taking pictures with everybody and everything. But it was a bummer that they had to cancel, and I hope that everything is okay with whatever emergency they had. And that's
Okay.
pretty much it.
Okay. So, is there anything else you would like to add to this Astronomicon review?
Just as always, had a great time. Awesome that they put this on every year. It can't be a cheap event to put on. So that they put. I'm assuming they probably have some investors, but probably put a lot of their own money into it. And it's cool that they do it. Always have a great time. Lots of cool guests. I look forward to seeing who they'll have next year. And yeah, just as always, going with you and getting to go in with the press pass is super cool. And just always have a lot of fun and already looking forward to next year, just as I do every year.
Yeah, I had a good time there. So I can definitely see myself. Wow, geez. I could definitely see myself returning next year. No, yeah, if they'll have me out again, I certainly will have no issues coming back out to Astronomicon. The crew has always been super nice to me, and I appreciate them. Shout out to them, to Mike and the rest of the crew for the hard work that they do. Yeah, I have nothing really else to add to this. Astronomicon 5 overall was a good event. I do like the new venue, and I'm going to see how they improve upon it for next time.
Yep, I'm definitely looking to see what they do. Looking forward to seeing what they do next year, and I will definitely be returning. So definitely have a lot of fun and looking forward to Astronomicon 6.
All right. Well, Tim, aka the Echoside Fiend, if people wanted to find out more about you and follow you, where could they find you at?
Well, I'm on YouTube as Echoside Fiend. I have Instagram, mostly just my own personal crap that I put up on there, but you're welcome to follow that as well. It's also Echoside Fiend. And that's pretty much all the social media that I have that pertains to my online stuff.
Well, Tim, thank you once again for doing another review with me, and thanks for coming with me to Astronomicon and whatnot.
Absolutely.
I always appreciate you.
Thank you for
year.
inviting me on and bringing me with. I appreciate it.
Oh, if any time that I go to Astronomicon, I will gladly bring you along. You've always been super cool over these last 5 years. I mean, I didn't get to go to year 3, but you've always been a great tour guide and just a good friend, dude. And I always enjoy our car rides down there, man.
Yes, likewise.
So, well, folks, this is Joe from My Geek Scene with Tim, the Echoside Fiend. We just did a review about Astronomicon 5. As I'm pausing like I'm going through a stroke at the end of this. Well, folks, this is Joe. Take it easy.
Too sweet.